Hey guys, GHAZZY TV here with another Diablo 4 video, and in this one I'm going to teach you how the hell you're going to look at items to determine if it is a better item for you or not. Too many people are asking, or saying that they can't find an upgrade, they're looking for an upgrade and they can't find an item that has higher item power than what they have. Completely mind-boggling how they're just staring at the item power. So I'm going to show you some items and I'm going to look at them and describe them for you. So I'm going to look at the right-hand ring, which is the one I have in my stash right now, inventory, sorry. It says there's green bars everywhere, plus 16% fire rest, 0.5 better poison rest. It's just green everywhere, green everywhere. It's higher item power than the ring I'm looking at on the left. They both have the same skill. Obviously, the power on my left is a little bit better. But they all, according to this, a lot of people would think that this is now a better item for me to upgrade. Now, in reality, this is not because of the item power. My item power on the left has 50%. That's a top roll for my build. That is way better than the power on my right. However, the power on the right has vulnerable damage, so this is a bit about the same. But the point here is to not blindly stare at the item power. You need to look at the actual modifiers. Are these modifiers going to scale your build? So if you look at the first one saying damage to injured enemies, that only applies to enemies that are below level 35% HP. Damage to close enemies, that would work well for the build I'm playing. Vulnerable damage, actually pretty good. I don't have that high uptime of vulnerable with this specific build. Maximum essence, kind of useless. The modifiers in this is actually not that good at all. I'm gonna look at a few other items. So here's another item. This is also a ring. This one has 429 item power. The enchant on this is something I would like to keep for future usage with a minion build, so therefore I'm saving this. But if you look at the item power, my build scales from overpower damage. This build not only has overpower damage, it also has life that overpower coming from. That's really good. Life regen, while not damaged, it's a bit whatever. The maximum minion life, since I'm actually using every single minion, that is not a bad modifier. So damage-wise, the HP and the overpower damage is not bad. However, the item power is 429. But if I compare this to the ring that I have, let's take that off and compare it to the other ring. Can't I do that? There we go. So let's compare this to my other ring. Now, my other ring has higher item power, but if you look at the modifiers, the left ring has max essence, completely useless. Max minion life, it's okay. Damage to distant enemies, completely useless for my build. Damage to stun enemies, completely useless for my build. Looking at the modifier on my right, I have life and overpower being really good, and the life of the minions is okay. So the ring on my right is a straight up very big. It's actually a very big upgrade for me. The only reason I'm not using it is because I would have to break off that enchant and the imprint and put the blood skill overpower enchant on it instead. I don't want to do this because I'd like to save my skeleton because it's a top rolled for future builds. But this ring is significantly better than the one I'm wearing. I could change this and I would have so much more damage out of this, but I don't want to do it because I'm saving that imprint. But the item power says that it's worse. So people need to stop looking at the item power and start looking at the actual modifiers and start to understand which modifiers are scaling your build. Now, in most cases, if your build is able to apply vulnerable, which you should, the higher uptime you have, Necromancer with bone skills can have 100% uptime of that, for example. Vulnerable damage is an insanely good modifier. Your main attribute, intelligence for Necromancers and Sorks, for example, dexterity for rogues, and strength for barbarians, will give you more multiplicative damage modifier. That is a very good stat to have. Attack speed for some builds, depending if you can handle the resource management through that. Life was only good for overpower. And then you have other modifiers, such as in this case, overpower. Most builds kind of want to go for crit strike chance, critical strike damage, and critical strike damage with a specific skill. In my case, I can use overpower damage, as I mentioned. And those are the kind of stats that would actually be directly beneficial. So stop looking at the item power and start looking at the modifiers instead. Item power plays a role in certain situations, such as weapons, and also breakpoints to which type of modifiers and what roles they can roll numerically. So a higher item power can roll better rolled modifiers than the lower item modifiers, but a lower item power item can be significantly better. An example of this was my 100 Necro build that I have. I equipped a ring that had 200 item power lower than the one I had equipped, and I gained about 25% more damage output because of it. Because the modifiers on the lower item power ring was just so much better than the one I had. It's crazy what a difference it was. And when it comes to weapons, obviously the one on the right I can't equip yet. It has a higher item power, and if you look at the damage per second, the damage directly is higher than what I have. The modifiers, though, you'd also have to look if the difference isn't too big. So if you have like 200 plus damage, yeah, just equip it. But if the modifiers are bad, in this case, it's only 58. The modifiers on the left, in my case, has vulnerable and basic skill. The vulnerable damage only happens sometimes. But on the right hand, I have lucky hit, chance to execute non-injured. That's okay. But most importantly, it gives me damage to close enemies. And that's something that happens all the time with this build. That makes the right hand weapon significantly better than just the 58 increased DPS. So again, stop looking at the item power, start looking at the modifiers, please. Just do that. You'll be having a much better character if you start doing that and understanding what items, powers, and modifiers you're actually looking for your specific build. That's it for this video. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe for more content, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Till then, stay safe, keep rocking.